There are endless Bitcoin podcasts. Most of them pretend they're always right. We don't. Bitcoin Tonight, live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Club Underground. No scripts, no influence or hierarchy, no mercy for bad ideas. Some takes land and some don't. Some sentences should have stayed in our heads. You'll hear all of it live with us, HumbleWarrior, Sir Ulric, and Phil. Plus, a chat that makes sure we know when we're wrong. If you're not here live, you're missing the point. And yes, you're missing the best part. Monday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Bitcoin Tonight. Catch us live. The replay, it's not going to hit the same.
Loving that intro. Loving that intro. Welcome back, everybody. It is Bitcoin Tonight. Sir Ulric, how's it going?
What's up?
Nice. HumbleWarrior, how you doing?
Hello. Good to see you guys.
All right. All right. I love that. I love that line where, the chat keeps us honest.
Oh, yes. They do.
The chat keeps us honest. I like that. All right. So look, we've got a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to dive into for tonight. Former Navy intel. This is quite the find, quite the creepy clip. We are going to take a look at that. What else? We've got the Desperate Gap WorldCoin collab. Speaking of which, Humble's new video series just dropped tonight at 6:30 p.m. Check it out on our channel, on our YouTube channel, of course. And we are going to be talking about that, the deep underground. Bitcoin influencers return to X to sell more fantasy. I'm interested in that one. I don't remember. Anyways, Bitcoin per share metric quietly retired. That's a surprise. There is no second best. Also disappears. Physical metal rush increasing unverifiability risk. Look at that. That's going to be an interesting one. Elon Musk, work will be optional. I'd like to see it. I definitely like to see it. And Bitcoin only posters greatest non-Bitcoin sales funnels. Indeed. So we've got all of this coming up. Yeah.
She'll be back.
Yeah. And so will we. Club Underground is sponsored by Archimedes Emporium. Discover the pinnacle of precision engineering, starting with their Bitcoin logo wall clock, meticulously machined in Maine from a solid block of aerospace-grade aluminum, ensuring unparalleled durability and performance. Experience the difference of a product made without compromise. Head on over to Archimedes Emporium.
All right. She's not back yet. So
no, that's okay. It's you and me. She'll be back soon.
Yeah, I really wanted her to see this one. I really wanted to get her comments on this, but
all right, we maybe hold on, Humble's back.
Here we go. Here we go.
There
she is. And it would be really bad to have that next sequence when we talk about your show and you're not here. It's like now we get to just dig into all the worst parts. No, I'm just playing. So Dominic Trippy is a he's talking about former Navy intelligence specialist that's saying podcasters are being blackmailed through all kinds of ways when they're to control essentially their podcast. So without further ado, I'm not going to get any comments from my co-host. I'm just going to drop this on the stage. We're going to watch for a moment. Here it is.
Somebody's an operative or whatever word you want to use. They're not like walking around on their off time, pulling out their secret CIA ID card and badging into the main building. That's not what happens. Even if you go back to Project Mockingbird, they're just getting some talking points in a letter every once in a while. They're just saying, oh, you know what? Don't have this guy on your show, or don't allow this to be spoken about on your show. Or if they talk about this, you're going to cut it out. There's simple things like that. Some very basic instructions. And the way that somebody like a Gen Z person might get recruited is, let's just use you as an example. Somebody comes up and says, hey, man, I love your podcast, yada, yada. They're in a restaurant, a bar, whatever. And they say, I have a serious question for you, though. Are you a patriot? Would you consider yourself a patriot? Now I've got you locked into identity, right? And then I say, well, I have an offer for you. But before I show you anything, I just want you to say, yes or no, would you be willing to entertain the offer and look at what I have? And it might be uncomfortable. Would you be willing to look at it? Sure. Yep. Stage 1 is I show you all of your browsing history, captures from your webcams on all of your phones and computers of you doing the most compromising shit you could ever possibly imagine. Every bad thing you've ever done, recorded in some way. And I'd say, I like your podcast. I think you're doing a great job, and I want to protect you. And I want to keep all this from the public eye. But we also want to give you $20,000 a month. So now you feel like you chose all of this. So you walk away not feeling like I shoved this in your face. I told you it was going to be stressful, and you agreed to it. And you agreed that you're a patriot and all the other agreements. And now if you say yes, the reason that you're doing this on your podcast is for your country, because you're not going to call yourself compromised. We have this thing called cognitive dissonance that keeps our brain from thinking I'm a bad person. So now, even though you're being asked to silence people, not have certain people on the show, leave something out of your podcast, you're telling yourself, and this, whoever's your handler is telling you this is for the greater good. And you kept the Americans safe by doing that. And you'll tell yourself that, and you'll feel good about it. So when a person is like in this situation, they will feel good about what they're doing. Even if it feels a little off in the back of their mind, they'll still feel like at the end of the day, I'm doing the right.
For the greater good, net positive. We echo these things in the Bitcoin space all the time. Maybe not for the greater good. Gosh, that's some forget the philosophy for that, the philosophy term for that, but that's, net positive. We hear that a lot. We see a lot of Bitcoin podcasters that have grown exponentially over the last few years. And, maybe the CIA isn't knocking on their door. Maybe the FBI isn't knocking on their door, but you got to wonder, is there a hierarchy of people with deep pockets that are knocking on the doors of podcasts and telling people what to say, who to allow to say certain things, and basically kind of curtailing what we thought was a freedom narrative to bring freedom money to the world, has become as impacted as the fiat system. I'm humble. What do you think about this?
Do I think it's happening? Or do I think it's happening in the Bitcoin space?
What do you think in general?
In general, boy. I think it's absolutely happening. I think that it's likely why wouldn't it be happening in the Bitcoin space? We're known to be able to influence this community that we have, right? It's very interesting.
Bill, I have to tell you, I've been told not to say certain things, or suggested, suggested not to say certain things.
Yep.
Well,
I'll
and that
just leave
can,
it.
that
Go
can
ahead.
happen. That can happen if you have an extensive list of sponsors as well.
That's right.
Depends on the sponsor.
Yes.
Right? There's some sponsors that are some people are extremely, and some companies are just totally hands off. Right. Like there's, in some cases, there is absolutely no agenda, right? It just so happens that, the person, let's say in the right position at a certain company, loves what you're doing. It goes well with their brand, and they're super happy. It's just, you do your thing. We're happy to be associated with you. There's also other sponsors, right? Where they take more of a hands-on approach with your, with your content, so to speak. And they'll guide you, right? They'll guide you. So they're not telling you what to do, right? But all of a sudden, let's say you get like an uplift in viewers, right? You get an uplift in subscribers.
Oh, yes.
All of a sudden, you're getting asked to be on, bigger shows and stuff like that. So then when that particular sponsor asks you to do something, it's, you don't want to go against them. You don't want to go against the hand that feeds, right? So you're gonna kind of do it. And of course, right, you're not a bad person, right? Why? What are you doing? You're following your incentives, right? You're trying to grow your business. You're trying to grow your show, and this is somebody who's paying you regularly and well, and they're a good customer, right? And you have a good relationship. So why not, right? You're doing right for yourself. So it gets very it gets very muddy, right? Like it gets very muddy. The question becomes, does it matter? Does it matter if you take money from those people in return for growing your platform?
Yeah, it does matter.
Like, does it matter? That's the interesting thing, though, right?
Yeah,
I think it matters. You think it matters, but I
Well,
know
because-
other people that would tell you that you're just thinking like a poor person, right?
Yeah,
Or you're thinking
exactly,
like somebody who doesn't want to get ahead. I'm
Right.
serious. I'm not joking.
No, I know that. I know.
It's like gaslighting crap
Yeah.
that stupid people say. I'm sorry.
No, I was interrupting you too. So
No, it's okay. We're having this conversation.
Start it off and interrupt each other back and forth.
It's
It's one of those things where, it's like $20,000 a month. God, that would solve so many problems, wouldn't it? But then at the same time, I can't help but think people's incentives will change, because what they would want to say, they're suddenly like, oh boy, I don't know if I can say that now. Or I know I can't say that. There's a list of things I can't talk about. There's a list of people I can't have on. So, and like that guy said, you feel like a patriot. You feel like you're doing the right thing, Doesn't matter if they started out with a blackmail against you, or they're just like, yeah, you don't want this to go public, but hey, you're a patriot and you're going to do your list and, whatever. But it's the problem that I have with it is, and I think we've encountered situations in our lives, I know, the three of us, at least, where you have an opportunity to be that person, to, get on that pedestal and make that money and do these things. But historically speaking, you've seen other people completely change, like their incentives completely changed. So the reason the people started following you to begin with, the reason the people appreciated your podcast or whatever it is, right? They are going to lose that. And then they're going to be just looped in with the masses of all these other people, that are just liking you because now you're famous. Now you're somebody. Oh, it's a mess. So I think if you feel like your incentives are going to change, or you're smart enough to realize that 99% of the time people's incentives change when something like that happens.
Or their incentives were always that in the first place, and they're just discovering it. They're just discovering their incentives because certain doors open. I'll give an example. I didn't, play college basketball, low end walk on, played for 3-4 years. But it was clear to me I wasn't going to the NBA. But if I would have gone to the NBA, I wonder what type of character I would have had. And I've multiple stories about players that went to the NBA and washed out, not because they were bad players, but because they were appalled and by the culture, and it shook them to the core, to the point where they lost the love or the desire to compete in that environment because of how essentially bad the culture was. And we're talking about the salaciousness, the tangential things that are happening around the entertainment industry. And, it just wasn't for them. And so it was easy to walk away because, they didn't, to climb even further would cause them to be more indoctrinated or more exposed to that. And so it's like, guess what? Their incentives were essentially to preserve who they were, even at the expense of compromising what they thought they loved and pursued for decades. So it's, people discover who they are when they are in a fast growing industry like the Bitcoin world. They get a podcast, people say they love them, and all of a sudden it's like, now we're, Tether's not that bad. You thought that Tether was bad initially because it was a stable coin. And then all of a sudden Tether gives, hey, $20,000 a month as long as you, don't say this and that. Hey, as long as you don't say anything bad about Michael Saylor, we can keep on retweeting and liking your stuff and making sure that people continually come to your channel for the Bitcoin news. It's almost like a sales funnel, or prepping, or maybe a marketing funnel if you're not overtly selling anything. The problem is that Bitcoin, well, the good thing is that Bitcoin, despite all of these things that happen in the communication or marketing or sales industry, that Bitcoin still is the quote unquote TikTok next block, and it still holds firm to its values because of how it's programmed. We just hope that the culture surrounding it either cleans up or becomes insignificant on its way up to multiple millions of dollars. You know, if we don't have anything else, you know, the thing about this next topic is that we are, and it's kind of a segue to people sharing their incentives and sharing the narratives that actually matter. Humble, you started this show or this segment on the Pleb Underground and your own show. It's a collaborative collaboration with Sovereign Society. It's pretty cool. It's pretty, I watched the first rendition. I know you just made quick updates to it, and so I haven't actually had a chance to see version 1.1. But talk to us about your mindset and what brought you to create this, and you know, and what's in store for us in the future.
Well, are you able to play the trailer video? It's like a 40-second.
Can we play the trailer video? I think while you're talking, I will upload it, and then I'll try.
I think I can
say that again, Phil.
I think I could pull it up.
Yeah, why don't you pull it up and
Okay.
Humble, kind of talk to us about this new project you've taken on.
Okay. So Deep Underground is.
Sorry,
like,
it's just going to start
there
playing.
you go. Oh, that's okay. Go ahead. Oh,
Oh
look
my
at
goodness,
this.
it's
Angry.
me.
Damn, he mad.
Oh,
He
don't-
mad.
Yeah. Don't mess
All right,
with
just
Ulric.
another angry black man.
Are we
What
gonna-
else? All right.
Crying out loud.
Why you
Okay.
mad? No.
A quick 30-second, then we'll go into the trailer, and then we'll talk about it more. So talk to us
Sure.
about
Okay.
it. Yeah.
So Deep Underground, as Ulrich said, is a collaboration with Pleb Underground, and we're still, it's in the works, and that's why, you know, there's a little bit of this mystery because we have some different ideas. I have different ideas, and we're discussing these things. But I have been putting content out for some time through Sovereign Society. I just wanted to have it be a little bit more focused, and then have it be this collaboration and kind of brand the whole idea of it. Because when we had actually started doing these lives, this is what I initially had proposed, was doing something that was a little bit deeper, a little bit, you know, it's Bitcoin, but Bitcoin adjacent as well, getting into different topics. So yeah, you guys can watch the trailer real quick, and then we can talk more about it.
Trailer coming
Live
up
on
now.
the surface. That's where the noise is. The headlines, the explanations that feel finished. But every system has a foundation. Every story has layers underneath it. Most people never look past the first one. Not because they can't, but because they're told there's nothing worth seeing. This is new. You don't really know what this is yet. That's intentional. Curiosity is usually where the interesting things begin. This is Deep Underground. For now, just listen.
So good. I love
So
that.
fun.
Yeah.
I love us as cartoon characters. It's
You know,
great.
I have to admit,
Yeah.
the cornrows, it's like, it's making me want to grow them back, but it takes so long. And there's this like middle time when you're growing your hair, and it's like, how much longer before my mom does it, and it's like, can you do it yet? It's like, no, you need to grow it another 3 weeks. I'm like, oh, it's ugly.
Oh,
So-
with that mullet, you can turn it into it, I'm sure.
I don't know. Maybe you can. I like that one scene where I kind of had the fade. Maybe you can make Sir Ulric do that a little more often.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
can stay contemporary. I love how you incorporate our characters into your narrative. And so I was like, it'd be kind of interesting to see what Sir Ulric and Coinicarus and HumbleWarrior do in these future stories. But
Exactly.
I mean, well, let's, before we go on, so that was a trailer, and maybe we can talk about your current one so people can, of course, check it out on our channel and Sovereign Society. You kind of talked about the collaboration with Gap and WorldCoin. And of course, I saw a reply from Ant and I had to give credit
That's
to that
funny.
one. The
I
real
didn't see
gap
that.
is
That's awesome.
between their ears. LMAO, stop, you stupid effing idiot. So tell me about, I mean, so what triggered you to talk about this one in particular? I mean, and that turnaround was so fast, and it was pretty compelling.
It just, the shocking part of the integration with Gap, you know, like that just really blew my mind. You know, heard about WorldCoin, I think shortly after I got into Bitcoin. So that wasn't a shocker to me. I thought it just kind of went away, you know, because people are freaked out by it. So it just, for me, it's like, okay, I need to try to understand that. Like, where are we at with this? I thought it kind of went away. And, you know, more and more with talking about CBDCs and digital identity. And now WorldCoin is trying to attract the Gap audience. And we kind of know the audience that gets, you know, cult follow. I like Gap. You know, I don't have a problem with Gap. I like their clothes. But, you know, if we're looking at the people who went back against Sydney Sweeney because they were upset about what she did, that's Gap. So, I mean, hey, that's their audience.
Sydney Sweeney was Gap. I thought she was.
No. They clap back against her. They clap back against, yeah.
They were
American Eagle,
they were the anti Sydney Sweeney.
Yes, they came up with a very diverse video.
Isn't that funny? They dislike the whatever demographics are behind Sydney Sweeney. Also we like this very oppressive dystopian cryptocurrency coin that takes your identity. It's like, do we not see the correlations, the Venn diagrams of all of these different demographics? And somehow, you know, stable coins and cryptocurrency and NFTs never end on the side of freedom and prosperity and individual rights. It's super weird. You know, call me crazy.
It is. But the fear is, you know, like before I got into Bitcoin, this is something that I'd be like, oh, this is awesome. Technology, let's keep up with it. This is so cool. It's going to make my life so much easier. And I wasn't like woke. I wasn't on that side of things. I was just a normal person, not paying attention to what was happening in the world, not understanding what was happening in the world. So it's, you know, to try to push these videos out to hopefully, you know, get in front of people that will understand this. You know, I'm not going to formulate a narrative and go deep into conspiracy theory with some of these things. Some of them, yeah, because it's like, okay, let's have fun with it. But something like this, it's really important for people to understand what this actually is and to just get them thinking, okay, well, there's some history on this. I understand what this is. And this is where, you know, oh, these countries had some issues with WorldCoin and they pushed back and they didn't want to have it. So it's already been tried and there were privacy issues. So yeah, that's really my goal. You know, I'm a mom. I have 6 kids, and the world that we're going to leave our kids right now is a disaster. It's very sad.
Yeah. It's so funny. I'm like looking at this conversation, like we're going into like middle America fashion dynamics. We're talking about, I meant American Eagle, like wasn't that American Apparel? It's like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I'm just at the mall right now talking, like figuring out what's the difference between all of these brands. Phil, when you saw Humble's video, what was your first reaction?
I just loved it. I love the style of it, and I'm a big fan of the animation. So yeah, and the fact that you're using your voice, I think that's very important. I think we all watch a lot of different content, and there's something to be said still. I mean, look, I know that some videos are served better by some robotic voice. However, in this particular case, right, this is something, this is like something like deep and meaningful. It's not like some, placid investment video. So I think that it's important that, you did it with your voice, and so that way you could actually hear like your tone. I think that was very important. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next videos that you decide.
I know the animations is really fun. It's fun to see what happens. I'm like, oh gosh, okay, how's this scene gonna play out? It's good.
It was beautiful. My reaction was when I saw it, I'm like, this is it. And of course, you made our new intro for the podcast, and it was I'm thrilled every time I see it, because it's like, we put ourselves out here and we share these thoughts, and with these thoughts, people kind of develop this not caricature, but this manifestation summary of who we are and like what we represent. And so it's like when you see me, you know, I was like, I have the gold chain. I'm kind of angry sometimes because I go off on rages. And then Coinicarus with this classic spy versus spy, like avatar. And it's just and you with like the scratch on your face, it's like, you know, you're a warrior. And it's like, you know, these kind of things can manifest and grow over time, almost like a logo or a brand, like a team brand. It's like, so a interesting segue. Needs Creation is slightly trolling, trying to talk about the Super Bowl. Can you guys talk about Drake May? Look, I know you're from Boston, and I know you want the Patriots to win. It's sports ball, and you can't help it. The Super Bowl's 2 weeks away, and this is what he does. Look, Drake May, he's a good quarterback. He's not the MVP, and he's going to lose the Super Bowl. You heard it here right now, and that's all I'm going to say about it. We're moving on to another guy. One more time.
I said you probably just isolated a whole bunch of people.
Right. But we're moving on to another. It's a perfect segue because we're moving on to another guy that has a lot of his roots on the East Coast, Boston, MIT particularly, where one of our favorite influencers, Jason Lowry, has reared his head again after at least 2 years away from Bitcoin Twitter to announce that he's going to release another book. And here's the catch. Like, I wasn't looking for him. I don't follow him, but guess what? The algorithm says you like Bitcoin. Jason Lowry really knows how to market to those Bitcoiners. And so if you notice when you turn on Twitter, sometimes it talks about trend summaries. I like sports ball. So guess what? They're going to tell me when a player gets traded and also when Bitcoin crashes. And I've been seeing that a lot recently. So they told me, it's like, hey, look at all these tweets about Jason Lowry. Jason Lowry makes like 2 or 3 tweets, and all of a sudden it's trending, hundreds of likes, retweets, et cetera, et cetera. Here's the crazy part about it, okay? So we have all these things. Just in, Jason Lowry is going to announce his next book so that you guys can all spend a truckload of money on it. And he makes this post. Now, this is the only tweet on the upper left that's left. He went on a tweeting, not a tirade, but maybe a few curated tweets over a couple of days, and then he deletes them all. And here's one example where with this Oliver Velez guy that's, you know, probably some sort of salesman in his own right. He has a lot of followers. I see him on and off again over the years. And he says, so glad you're back. One of the most brilliant minds in Bitcoin today. Prayer hands. And guess what Lowry does? He strategically deletes a tweet. He definitely knows how to pull and push the Bitcoin Twitter demographic a lot. I mean, he's one of the greatest masters in psychology on Twitter I've seen. He gets a lot of interest for theory that for all intents and purposes is a shitcoin. Nothing he says is ever going to be realized, but somehow, guess what? People like to play sci-fi with real money. And so what you know, I'm here again, and it's like when I first saw him, I'm like, this is a lie. But guess what? When Max and Stacy and Greg Foss and all types of people push this guy out to you and say this is your next influencer, they essentially brainwashed a whole segment of then Twitter. Look, I've said enough. Phil, over the years, I have probably complained to you about this guy, mostly because guess what? I work in the same industry. I'm in the space industry for my profession, and he's there. I know people in my office where he was their superior officer, and they have a very similar disposition. He's kind of a weirdo. Phil, what's your thoughts on Jason Lowry with his next book? Are you going to buy it?
No, I don't actually buy any of the Bitcoin books anymore. I fell for that. And again, there's nothing wrong with it if you're just learning about Bitcoin and you're finding all of these authors. It's great. However, I just at this point, right? Once you've read a couple of the, you know, like the typical stuff. In all fairness, the only thing I really ever had to read was Durgigi's 21 Lessons.
Good choice.
Yeah, I mean, I did read the Bitcoin Standard. I did read, the Road to Serfdom, and I can go and ramble off the other 20 titles that I was that I was marketed. But my point is that his original book, right, gave a lot of people a lot of reasons to get upset. I can say that I personally did not appreciate the point of view of the states using Bitcoin as power projection. That's just right. Like, that's just my personal opinion. Now, granted, it doesn't mean that the state wouldn't try to do that, right? It doesn't mean that. And of course, as we know, Bitcoin is for enemies. So, hey, fair game, right? If they think that there's some type of like a move that they can do on the world stage, using power projection, then so be it. But in terms of his more like retail facing book that he's going to make this time, I'm very curious what narrative he's going to spin. Right. So I'm more curious as to what the framing of the book is going to be rather than what the actual book is. Right. I just want to know what the framing is, because the original framing of Soft War had to do with the power projection and the state using Bitcoin essentially as a weapon. So I'm very curious to see what he's going to do for this more retail slash. If I'm not mistaken, like, did he not mention that this was more geared even like towards like teenagers and stuff like that?
I didn't catch that. I just remember retail and
definitely remember retail. I don't want to overstep my boundaries, but that
these people, when if one book succeeds, guess what you do? You write another book, and you may re-twist the words that you had initially to sell the same thing twice. And I mean, look at Saifedean's book. I mean, I think he has another one coming out. And how many different ways can you talk about the fiat standard juxtaposed to the Bitcoin standard, juxtaposed to whatever his third book was? But again, like, people just like to see their favorite, hero, and the words that they say, even if they're saying them, 3 times over. Humble, what are your thoughts on Jason Lowery?
I'm going to, looks like Phil really would like to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I?
Sorry, I wanted to add what? Yeah, she heard me. Add one last thing. It's not uncommon, right, to see this type of stuff happen with many different types of like look, for example, right, the self-help books, right? You're going to see the same messaging like 20 times over in slightly different flavors all across. So it's like one of the books will give you like, these 3 things, but then they'll allude to this 4th thing, but then the other book will give you the 4th thing and not the 3 things from the other book, but then it gives you these 2 other additional things. So it's just like, this is just par for the course, right? So my point is that to see something like Saifedean, right, or not just him, but many of the people essentially writing the same things over and over again. That's really what it is. Sorry, Humble, go ahead.
No, the only thing I was going to add is, when you were talking about like the psychology of what he's able to do, where he deletes his tweets. Isn't it Michael Burry? Isn't he the other one that he would put stuff out and then he would? And so there was actually a Twitter account. I think it was a Twitter account at the time. So that started Michael Burry tweets.
Deleted tweets.
Yeah. So
all right.
I know. So it's funny.
I learned that he was doing this, Lowery, and so I actually started screenshotting a couple of them. And some things he said. I mean, there's one time he said, like, "Hey, you guys may hate, what I'm saying, but guess what? I just got a text from someone in Biden's cabinet. He said I'm doing a great job." I'm like, oh, he's so going to delete this one. Let me screenshot. He's deleted in 30 minutes. I'm like, the things that come, but this is the Bitcoin hero. This is the guy that's going to bring hyper Bitcoinization to the U.S. government. And by the way, a major in the Space Force. For reference, like, I tell majors what the fuck to do. Okay, it's like, with all due respect to my customers that they really are, but they look to me for my expertise, not the other way around. Okay, now when we start pecking up to a colonel or general, maybe they could make waves for the government. They can say something and it becomes leading to policy. but not a major. And at that point, Captain Lowry, like for people, Bitcoiners to say, oh, look, he wears a uniform, so therefore he's going to bring Bitcoin to the government. It just shows how naive the people are and how naive your influencers think you are. I'm sorry, Humble. Go ahead.
That's okay. Phil wants to say something now.
No, go ahead.
No, I mean, that was it. It was, I'll finish it up. I'll finish it up and then we can continue. So it's just the psychology of it, because indeed somebody came into a space the other day and they said the same thing. They were just like, oh, they mentioned the book and they were like, oh, but hurry up and look at it because he's going to delete his tweets. He deletes tweets like all the time. And then it's just like, oh, in my mind, I'm like, I'm not interested in this really at all. But because he deletes his tweets, now I want to know, like, what does he tweet that makes him want to delete his tweets? So it's like that psychology. Exactly. It's like,
and the algorithm loves it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. See, I thought maybe if you deleted your tweets, they wouldn't be very happy with you for that. But what you certainly don't want to do on X is engage in discourse where people are going to have opposing opinions and mute you, because I think when they mute you, the algorithm identifies that as you're not somebody to push information out about. So
that's right. I love muting boxes.
A bunch of liberals mad at me, and boom, there it goes. Nobody sees my stuff. Anyways.
Just to go back to the you made a comment, Ulric, and I just want to understand a little bit more about it. You said you were talking about that he's going to be the guy to hyper Bitcoinize the U.S. government. I just want to understand what does that mean?
Well, here's I'll be honest. So, or not be honest. I'll take it back to how I initially. Of course, I'll be honest, but I'll take it back to how I first heard about Lowry. A mutual friend of ours in a group chat. You've met him before. Both of you guys, at least in the group chat setting. He sent me a message on LinkedIn. It's like, hey, what do you think of this guy? Writing this Bitcoin stuff. I saw it. I'm like, oh, it's trash. It's horrible. Like, and this is why ABCD and E. This is 2021. I'm kind of green. I haven't even been through a full cycle yet. But I'm like, oh yeah, all this stuff. No, this is fake statism crap. You're not gonna like it. The very next day. Or maybe 2 days later, I'm watching Max and Stacy at that point, and they're announcing it's like, oh, this young, super sharp captain in the Space Force, is going to basically help the government, get on a Bitcoin standard, and they start going off on Jason Lowry and his back then his theory for MIT, and that he was going to turn
on their shoulder.
Say what?
Who taps on their shoulder to tell them, right? Think about that, right? Like think about all of this stuff, right? Like who approaches Marty and Matt, and who approaches all these different people and taps them on the shoulder and tells them that you should bring this person on, right?
So
are they getting $20,000 a month?
No,
is that what's happening?
It's not even about them. It's just the point is that somebody's doing. Right, like at some point, right, somebody decides, or a small group of people decide that one person is to be, the signal is to be amplified, and then all of a sudden it seems as though a whole bunch of people amplify this.
I think I have that story actually. So here's the catch. So Boston, we talked about Drake May, Patriots, they're going to lose Super Bowl. Jason Lowry went to MIT. We know Bitcoiners are from Boston. Of course, we have Needs is one of them. Astro is one of them. I'm sorry, but well, they're fans of the New England area. But I'll say this: Greg Foss. Greg Foss is a Bostonian. Lawrence Lepard is a Bostonian. So the catch is Greg Foss was very, very involved in cultivating Jason Lowry on LinkedIn and helping him get his narrative out there. So I do think that Greg Foss was the one that tapped on the shoulder of higher level influencers, namely, of course, his circle, which would be Jeff Booth, James Lavish, Lawrence Lepard. So you have this retweeting, this liking from all of these A-listers, and then you tap on Max and Stacy, who aren't necessarily in their circle, but kind of they integrate. And so now when Jason Lowry gets unveiled on Twitter, and you have all of these A-list Bitcoiners saying Jason Lowry, U.S. government, Bitcoin standard. Well, then you have his first day, he has 12,000 followers in one day. And then he drops a tweet saying, hey, thanks all of these A-listers, they all retweeted. Guess what? It goes exponentially viral. And now the algorithm says this is a winner. Because when all the A-listers are saying this is the guy that we like, the algorithm likes him too. So I think it started, in my opinion, I think it started with Greg Foss. And then from there, you tap on a couple shoulders and then it goes crazy.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So that's what I saw.
It goes on behind closed doors. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, that's conjecture. No one overtly told me that. Greg Foss said, yeah, man, it was me. It was me. But, it's like, that's how books are sold. It's like, and if he funds it a little bit, if he says, hey, I get 10% of the cut if I do a good job of promoting it, guess what? It's in his incentive to make sure that that's successful. And he was very popular and successful at that point. So it's not surprising. So yeah. Without speaking of that, if we go on to the next topic, why don't I see my stuff? Here we go. So small print, a lot of tweets, but basically Rob Hodl noticed something about Strategy's recent Bitcoin announcements. No longer highlighting what was considered the future of accounting principles, Bitcoin yield, or aka Bitcoin per share. The things that said, hey, we are gaining this much more Bitcoin per quarter, per year. They're not announcing that anymore. And so he had his rationale, of course, law of diminishing Bitcoin yield, the ability to deliver a yield decreases as the Bitcoin stack grows, which of course is true. If you have 700,000 Bitcoin, you buy 50,000, it doesn't look as good as if you had 1,000 and you buy another 1,000. So the number sucks, even though you're actually buying more. But again, for the moment, it sounded good because you're not only buying Bitcoin, but you're creating a new narrative around numbers. You're moving numbers around to make it look like you're better than you actually are. They bought again. Phil, Humble, I'm getting sick of this.
Well, I mean, like, look, if you're a shareholder, you're definitely like, all right, I just put kicked in the nuts and this better be worth it.
He did say in parentheses, right, now that this means going forward that the play, I heard that word all the time, the play, it just sounds sleazy, right? Like, why can't you just,
because it's guy talk. It's guy, right? Because you understand this. It's the sports analogy, right? He's one of the boys, one of the guys, just taking your money and buying Bitcoin with it. One of the guys.
Yeah, and so it's like now it's more about squeezing the price of Bitcoin going higher and higher itself. So I guess this time it's different. This time now it's about price discovery. We'll see if that really takes place. I'm not really excited about that. Who knows? Additionally, Saylor has changed his narrative over time. We're not going to play the video. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys will trust us, bros. At this point, we call out all the Saylorisms where he's failing. But again, essentially saying that, it's okay the equities have a place and they're important too. Saylor, whether it's true or not, here's the catch. And we got into a conversation with this, me and Phil, in a thread with some MicroStrategy simp, without better words. But it's not that equities don't have a use case. We understand. I have MicroStrategy. Okay, guys, like, kill me. And I've talked about this for years. But it's not that. It's that initially he said there is no second best. So where are the new quotes of him saying that? He doesn't say that anymore. It feels like he's had a change of heart. And that change of heart really came full circle with the 2021 plan and all the strategy suitcoin advocates that were talking about how, you need to buy this now. And meanwhile, all it did was drop 60% in a year. Humble, have you noticed anything different about Saylor's narratives that he presents himself with?
I mean, it's the same as last week. Nothing has changed as far as how I feel and the things that I've seen. I will say that it's very interesting because on TikTok, now I'm seeing people that are outside of the Bitcoin space talking about Saylor and talking about him as a scammer and these different things and it's very interesting. So I think that, now that he's playing in that essentially the traditional finance playing field, he's drawing attention from people that are into silver and gold and all these different things. And, they want to pick apart Bitcoin at the same time. And so it's, I see that he's getting more attention outside of our little world. I guess that's the only thing that I've seen change from last week, but it's the same old, same old. I'm kind of sick of talking about him.
Phil, what about you? And you guys are like wheeling and dealing in the chat. I'm like, I'm missing.
So Verhoofty is now a mod in for on YouTube. So congratulations, Verhoofty. I just made him a standard mod. I don't really understand the difference, but I appreciate it. Please don't.
So what does he do now? Does he keep all the races out or something?
He can like silence people. He can I just saw the options list, but it doesn't matter. He can do a bunch of stuff. He can do stuff and things.
Can you mute me?
I see that comment there.
I mean, we're doing the show, but
TikTok has changed.
But now he can influence. See, now he can go in from behind the scenes. He can censor people. So,
such an influencing position.
It's crazy.
Can you just before you go on, like the TikTok? Oh, actually, you know what? No, give your feedback about the Michael Saylor slop, and then we can go to. Huh? You didn't have anything to say?
I did. I was waiting for you to.
No. Because just do that, and then I'm going to bring up TikTok, and that's not part of our agenda, but I'm bringing it up.
Okay, so I'll finish the Michael Saylor slop, and then you can bring up the TikTok. But all I wanted to say was the whole Bitcoin, the whole entire Bitcoin per share thing, right? Like it was obviously always a novelty, right? I get that they would like for that type of thing to catch on, right? And of course, it makes people feel good. However, as a shareholder, you have absolutely no claim to MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings in any way, shape, or form. And this is what people like. This is like what people don't understand. And like for some reason, they do this mental gymnastic, this giant leap where because I hold these shares, it somehow is tied to their Bitcoin. Like, in an abstract way, it is. And they're trying to make it more real by creating that whole Bitcoin per share narrative. But as we
I know people who actually said, I have claim to MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
They're completely like, no, you don't.
No.
They've been duped. Malcolm X used to say, you've been tricked, you've been hoodwinked, you've been bamboozled. And ain't nothing more clear than the MicroStrategy advocates, cheerleaders. And it's like you can't even be an honest shareholder anymore. Now you have to either cheerlead or get off the toilet. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's a disgusting Bitcoin world we have there. Humble.
Yeah.
TikTok is captured.
Yeah, look at that.
Okay, talk to me.
Wasn't it always?
Well, so I logged in the other day because I have a store on TikTok, and I'm like, oh, these new terms and conditions, and then all of a sudden,
like every 2 weeks.
Well, no, because I mean now it's like that buyout where the U.S. was able to purchase whatever happened, It's owned by.
It doesn't matter.
Who is it owned by? Larry Ellison or I don't even know. So
3-letter agency. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
not China necessarily anymore. It's not as much China, but
they're splitting it up. Their 3-letter agencies, our 3-letter agencies, they're all just kind of hanging out together. But.
So now they've changed it where you have to do fulfillment through them. So where you could do your own fulfillment before, it's kind of like an Amazon, like the TikTok store. A lot of people don't know they have this. It's easier than it's easier than Amazon because you're literally like going through, you're watching the videos, and then you're going to get like this ad where it's an influencer that you're unaware of, right? Because you get assigned to be able to do these things to, oh my gosh, like you can get this ring light and it's amazing. And wouldn't you love it? No, look at all these beauty products that you can have. It's so freaking easy. And they've got Apple Pay. So you're just like ding, 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 ding. And then your husband's like, what the hell are you
That
doing?
easy, huh?
What is this?
Oh.
It's so easy. Oh, hi, Phil.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell just happened there.
Where did I go?
He wanted to show the beauty products that he's using.
No.
Like, God, your skin looks so good, Phil. Must
Oil
be
of Olay, you know. I mean, this
Dr.
is the new thing for you know.
What?
Yeah, it's like the late '90s. Oil of Olay.
Yeah,
you know?
I haven't heard that one for a minute. Dang.
I know. My mom actually used oil of Olay, and she has amazing skin. Seriously, I was like, wow, that's great.
The only thing I could think of because it's like that's. Go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you'll have to let all the guys know your skin routine when we're done here.
It's funny that you mentioned this because Junseth actually, no, it's weirdly enough, Junseth on the podcast mentioned this once and was like, man, I don't know what you do. He's like, but you have amazing skin. I'm like, okay. Like, I don't know what to say to that. Like,
Yeah.
Is he
Thank you.
becoming Ed Gain? Like, I don't want to like decide to want to wear me or something.
So that really wasn't an accident, what Phil just did. He's just trying to pretend it was an accident. He just wants everyone else to notice this so we can talk about it. And it's fine. We can. You gotta, at this age, you know, you gotta like take what you can. Anyways, so
That's awful.
Phil has
Okay,
beautiful
sorry,
skin,
continue.
and we're all very envious of his skin. It's not fair.
I
But
highly
it's only
your
human
idea
hair.
for it,
That's
yeah.
okay. We can't have everything.
Hey, look,
So
I wish I had Ulric's hair.
yeah, seriously.
I've got the Costanza thing growing in here, or growing
Oh,
out,
God.
appearing actually.
Thank God for hats. Man.
It's the shoehorn. It's coming in.
Oil of Olay, the word of the day. I feel like it's like going to be Pee Wee Herman Day. Like every time we say the word, There's my Gen X reference.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like pretty good.
I'm a little too young for that, but yeah, I
There's actually a female
beautiful
Bitcoin
bodies.
influencer who was related to Pee Wee Herman. I'm
was.
trying to
Is he
remember his
he's not
name.
dead?
He's dead, isn't he?
No, yeah, he's dead. Paul
Dead.
Rubens.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Played such a good role in the movie Blow. He was awesome in that.
I only saw the Pee Wee Herman movie.
It's
but-
amazing.
You never saw the movie Blow
No.
with Johnny Depp? You should
Mm-mm.
see that movie. That is a worthwhile watch. 100%.
Okay. Copy,
Seriously.
copy.
Yeah, it's older, but it's good.
So TikTok.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. We've trying to remember what I was going to say about it. They updated their terms now that they've got this whole thing moving forward, and it's very interesting. It's you cannot fulfill your stuff. I mean, you have to fulfill your stuff with them. Like I was saying, it was like an Amazon. You didn't have to do it that way before. You could do it through your own providers, your own vendors. So that's going to be really limiting a lot of people. I saw a post about somebody like CapCut. Have you guys heard of CapCut?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So CapCut is owned by ByteDance, which was the parent company,
Ooh,
of
I did
TikTok.
not know that. That's interesting.
So I don't know if CapCut was part of this deal because ByteDance, that was the whole thing, right? You know, like why would they be so concerned about only TikTok and this whole backdoor of information that they said that they had if millions of people use CapCut and it's the same company. But anyways, their price overnight after the app had been down for like a day went from $79 for the pro plan to $179. So all these people who had signed up for this pro plan for $79 had to agree to new terms where it was just, how do you freaking 79 to 179? That's insane. But yeah, they you're not allowed to say a lot of things on TikTok now where they were kind of not that they didn't really censor too much. They really didn't censor too much until the US started putting their eyes on them, and then they definitely did some censorship, and now I guess it's completely different. There's a lot of people that are upset. So
You know,
Fun
because if anyone's going to be collecting our data, it's going to be us.
Yeah.
As in the
And it's
US.
true, right?
Yeah.
Well, I like
Somehow
that.
we have it in our heads that it's completely okay for our local government to be collecting our data, but not a
Mhm.
foreign government, right? Because for some reason, and this is for some reason, right, we imagine that it's our government that is obviously on our side, and yet the foreign government is against us, and yet it's like, really, like this is like made up nonsense. They're all government. Doesn't matter. Like, it's all governments. Yeah.
You know, I gotta say that with regards to, and of course, governments have these they've learned to incorporate corporations to exert additional government control. And a lot of Elon Musk's wealth has come from government contracts.
Look at that.
And so here we are with the richest person in the world. And we have this guy, and he's been really, really heavy on AI. Obviously, he has a great product. Grok is great. Robotics, you can see his Tesla robots on his quarterlies or his annual shows. They're interesting, and he has a robot restaurant, I think, somewhere in LA. I've never been, but he's saying 10 to 20 years from now, work will be optional. Like, key into all these phrases: work will be optional, money will be irrelevant, thanks to AI and robotics. Now, before you guys give your input, I gotta say, I've heard the narrative money will be irrelevant. And I've heard it from banker friends. I've heard it from people in the finance realm, rich people, not poor people. Poor people never talk about money will be irrelevant. It's always rich people or well-connected people. Additionally, work will be optional. Again, I hear that from wealthy people, never poor people. And it's so funny, you know, for the most part, wealthy people, like the people who are very popular on TikTok and X and Instagram, they don't work. They are generally, they come from wealthy backgrounds. That's how they were able to most of the time, not always, are able to cultivate this following through the arduousness of an algorithm. And so what you have here is like AI and robotics. No one has to work. Money is free. But my question to you, Phil, is who owns the robots? Who owns, and how do we, and who owns how much food, how much house, how much property we get? Because if money doesn't determine that, what does, and who controls it? So I'm confused.
The state. It's like, that's the answer, right? In whatever form, in whatever form it comes in, it's going to be the state. So, you know, one thing that we've seen, right, is that obviously there's, especially in the US, there's more pushback for growing government, right? A growing government footprint. Like, that happens more than I could tell you. Like in Canada, right? When like in Canada, when they announce like some new administrative wing or some shit like that, like nobody cares, right? It's like, yeah, whatever. All right, yeah, it's more it's fine. You know, like, we can't afford to live anyways. Doesn't matter, right? But like people genuinely get upset here. Okay. Yeah. And they just don't put up with it. So essentially what we've seen is obviously the privatization of the military industrial complex. Like, this is no, right? It's no surprise. So it's either going to be the government outright owning all of this stuff and controlling all of it. And of course it's for our own good. It's for our security, and it's, you know, for the future and unity and all that crap. Or it's going to be, seemingly altruistic corporations, right? Like, that's how they're going to come across, right? Making humanity better. Look at what
many X do we see? BX, EX, whereas like Bitcoin acceleration, was effective acceleration. All of these people that say, hey, we will accelerate humanity for the sake of, by doing this one thing that we do. And oh, by the way, if we happen to step on some property rights, so be it, for the greater good.
Think about the narratives that were coming out of Silicon Valley when it became evident that Google and Facebooks and all of these titans, so to speak, right, were becoming who they are now, right? Like, what was the rhetoric back then was that, you know, they're changing the world, right? They're changing the world, you know, like, this is going to change everything, right? It's making the world a better place. A lot of them, all their technologies, we're here to make the world a better place. Right? Bringing people closer together, bringing families closer together, getting to share memories, blah, 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 all that crap. What do you have today? Whole bunch of fucking mental illness on the internet. That's what you have. Like that's, I mean, I get it, right? There's totally some people having a good time over there and all of that good stuff. But for the majority of it, unfortunately, it's a bunch of fucking slop and it's a bunch of mental illness. And it's a bunch of people that are either parading around their narcissism or the fact that they don't want other people to know that they're extremely lonely or whatever it is, like whatever it is. But the point is that that's not what happened. The world did not become a better place because Google was harvesting your data. Okay, like the world isn't a better place because Facebook is harvesting your data. Like that's stupid. It really is. So I just don't, unfortunately, like I don't see a good situation, even when it comes to the AI, even when it comes to AI and robotics. Sorry for saying AI like a boomer there. I don't know what the fuck. I called it AI. Oh, like the internet.
Hey, for the Gen Xers, there's only one AI, and that's the answer. That's Allen Iverson.
Wow, look at that.
I can't take credit for that one.
Like, yeah, sorry, I just want to finish up before I forget everything, because that's what happens all the time. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah, I get my skin, so it's okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's all good. But the point is that, like whoever it is that is going to be manufacturing these robots, right? They're going to answer to somebody. Whoever it is that is writing this code, that is going to be going into these robots. And if you think for a second that like there's not going to be constant software updates or any of that shit, there absolutely will be. Okay, there's going to be all of that stuff. And if you think for a second that this isn't going to end up like Microsoft or something to that extent, I'm sorry, that's what happens. Okay, like this is what happens. Businesses build moats. Okay, nobody is truly doing anything to better humanity for the sake of humanity. That's altruistic nonsense. Okay, deep inside, a person wants to be recognized, a person wants to be successful, a person wants to be wealthy. Some people who don't have a proper check on their egos, unfortunately, guess what? They want power and they want other people to subdue to that power, right? They want to be able to control others. This is what we have. This is, all right, all these personalities. And those are, unfortunately, the majority of the personalities that make up the personalities that want to run other people's lives. That's what it is. Those are the people who decide mostly to become government.
Humble, before you go on, I want to give a shout out to what Roman said. So it's the same story for the rich taking prosperity that technology was supposed to bring society. It's the price of tomorrow's thesis from a friend of the show, Jeff Booth. And that's important. There's a race because technology is happening. Okay, we are growing regardless. Now it's a matter of, can we build in parallel something to preserve our freedom while something to take our freedom is continually growing? I mean, you can look within the cryptocurrency industry and you can see Tether and its growth. Just look at the market cap. And you can see Tether and its manifestation across the world in Bitcoin. And Tether is growing fast. Bitcoin is growing fast, but one's a moat and you can freeze. We talked about that. Your assets can be frozen. One, you can do peer-to-peer transactions with whomever, wherever. And so, Humble, like I'm going to give you this use case. Like, let's just say you have 5 robots. You have a fleet of robots, and you have one person, a middle-class person, has a fleet of robots, and it's like, okay, they do all your work for you. And then another person, let's just say you can't afford the robot, so well, the local government will say, well, here's your robot, and you can use it, as long as you do X, Y, Z, A, B, and C, vote for the right person, whatever. But it's leased or loaned to you because they'll never just give it out. There's no property rights exchange. The government always holds things. How do you see robotics playing out for the poor people and the middle class? The rich people, they're going to be fine. We've seen in the comments, rich people are going to be fine. How do you see robotics and AI playing out for the poor people and the middle class?
The framing of the question, it's just, I'm sitting here thinking there's not going to be a middle class. There's just not. This is going to, we're already, the middle class is already being eliminated. I mean, that's part of the plan. You look back at the, the days where there was nobility and certain classes were able to be in the castle. If you were noble and you had, a lord or a lady or, they were allowed to be in the castle, and then everybody else right? And we've talked about this, but it's just, there's not going to be middle class. I mean, you look at the people that are already wealthy, they're going to stay wealthy. And you look at the poor people, you probably have some scrappers in there. You know, you're going to have some scrappers in the middle class as well. But I mean, I think the whole idea behind it is you really just are going to be eliminating people in the middle. The people who are rich are just going to get richer. They're going to be able to do more things with the robots because they have the ability to do so. And the middle class aren't going to be able to keep up. So I think you're just demoting the middle class to poor people, or they're going to, you know, shift up to the higher echelon if you're good at like networking and, you know, the right people. But it's interesting because I find myself when, you know, robotic technology, like, okay, we've got vacuums, right? Love the vacuums. They're wonderful. They're great. They can mop too. Now there's one that they've made that I've been like wanting for such a, exactly. It's so exciting. It goes like,
what can it do? Wait, what?
Climb stairs.
Yes. It goes up the stairs.
Yeah. The Robo Rock.
The stairs. It's
The Robo Rock.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, you're gonna get to know this. You're looking at a house, aren't you? So you'll get.
Is it better than a Roomba or something?
Oh yeah.
No,
Oh yeah.
no, because there's nobody else that has created a vacuum that can climb the stairs and vacuum your stairs.
It's climbing
Yeah.
stairs.
Yeah.
They're-
Yeah.
they're
I mean, so
evolving. Okay.
yes, they're evolving. So,
Mhm.
and you know, that's like, wow, that's awesome. So you see the technology and you love that. And then you think, geez, like how much time could be saved if I didn't have to do the dishes and I didn't have to, like, what if it lets your dog out and, you know, like you're just, I mean, all these things that you're just like, oh, it's these little parts of my day that take up the time and maybe they're not thoroughly enjoyable. And you do feel like you can pass it off, right? Like dishes suck, dude. I don't care. I mean, you have a dishwasher. We shouldn't complain, right? I'm not the dishwasher, guys. Okay. I know I'm a woman and you guys like to say that. But anyways.
No one said that.
No, just saying, like, well, that's not what you're
I can see this one coming from like a mile away. I was
Yeah.
not
I'm waiting.
Nope, I'm not going to hit that one.
No, it's fine.
No.
Yeah,
There's
I
other
just the
people.
chat will explode. So
Yeah.
but even like, but okay, let's touch on this a second. Since I brought up the dishwasher, is it a thing? Is it a thing that like you have one person in the family that just kind of puts stuff in the dishwasher and then somebody else who has to be like a freaking electrical engineer and the way they have, you did not put it, don't even bother putting it in the dishwasher because if you're not going to do it right, I would rather just do, I swear to God, is it a guy thing? What is it with you guys?
I mean, it's true because there's a certain, everything goes in a certain place in the dishwasher. Everything faces a certain way. So if you
generally agree.
Where do the bowls go, top or bottom?
Okay, so the bowls, it depends on your dishwasher, but it goes at the top and it usually goes like right in the middle. There's like these kind of like,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Okay.
No, every dishwasher is made different.
But exactly, it depends on your dishwasher. It totally
When
depends.
you have a lot of people in your household and they all drink cups and they get new cups all the time, then the whole entire top rack is cups. And so the bowls can't go on the top. They have to go on the bottom. But what ends up happening is all these nasty bowls end up there and then you have to move them from the top to the bottom because you have to put more of the cups in there. It's just,
you know what
you gotta do more.
There's certain dishes. I like dishes that actually can't be put in the dishwasher, like silverware. And if we know about
you can't go in the
silver right
dishwasher.
now, huh?
Silver.
Silver.
Oh, huh.
Silver
You're
has
gonna
been.
transition us in whatever. Do your little
Of course, I'm
segue.
transitioning. That's my job. I'm the host.
Oh, wait.
We're transitioning.
Wait.
We're transitioning to silver because it's important for the topics.
Oh, you're so good at this.
Let's talk about silver.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
let's talk about it.
Look, hard assets, okay? We're talking
Everybody
about
cares.
physical things. Copper, silver, gold, platinum. I got my gold chain. I ain't got no platinum, but we got silverware. Over the last 2 years, I'm like, huh?
Where's the silver?
The silver is the
Silverware.
silverware and the forks, knives, and spoons, I think. So the
Where?
nice ones. Anyways, silverware, I got you. Play on words.
Yeah.
You're mad because I took the conversation back.
Fine. Fine.
Hard assets, market cap expansion 24 to 26. Okay. Bitcoin was at about 40,000 at that point, and so basically I took this chart 2 days ago. It didn't incorporate where silver went up to 108, then 120, now it went back to 103, so we're still good. But when you look at the market cap change, 3.8 trillion increase in copper, 4.55 trillion increase in silver, 20.9 trillion increase in gold, and $0.5 trillion increase in platinum. We're talking about all the platinum, gold, silver, copper in the world. Bitcoin, same time frame, 1 million. You know, guys, it's making me start to think that they took our bull market because they all happened right when Bitcoin was supposed to blow up.
Can we just put ACP's comment up there real quick?
No, I can't read chat and talk to them, so I can only imagine. Let's talk about Ulric has been taking online broadcasting classes. Yeah, I'm like the guy at the table, like on NFL Sunday morning, and like all the pundits are like getting.
That's why you're so good at this.
And I bring it back.
Okay. Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense.
The turbo blazer moving on from loading a washer. Yes, we kind of are. We don't remember there.
We like to talk about Bitcoin, even though we're talking about silver.
Yeah, seriously.
You know.
But before we move on, can we just show some appreciation to this beautiful chart that you made?
I did make this chart, and I'm bringing up my old style work stuff. Nowadays, I work in a lab, and I basically create software solutions.
Where?
But back in the day, lab. You're aware, yeah. But now, I wanted to go back to my PowerPoint creating when I was a government employee. It's like, oh, here's a PowerPoint so I can show other people who make PowerPoints. So it's like we can just burn all the taxpayers' money. But it's like, I think this is a good summary because I was thinking like this bull phase, it was supposed to be us and it was them. And we can't really laugh at them. But Phil, I'm wondering, like, when we see the peaks of these metals and they go down, and of course there's no support in that current prices, you think that maybe there's some correction. Does any of it, and maybe you're talking about this on your show, I don't know, does any of it go into Bitcoin? I'm desperate for some positive price action like yesterday.
Yeah, no, of course, and so am I, right? It's really tough when you're putting up things like that's it, 4-year cycle's broken, this time it's different, and then we drop 3K overnight. So I completely understand. However, this whole thing of like, we were robbed. Like, you're not the only person that talks about this. I know a few people that for some reason believe that like, oh, we were supposed to have this, but the money went into Nvidia, or the money went into Palantir, or the money went into guys. Like, this is all fucking nonsense. It's not that there was no supposed to. There's no shoulds. There's no supposed to. There's only what is, right?
That's right.
And this is what is. So this is where we are, right? I'm sure a certain portion of those profits are going to rotate at some point into Bitcoin. What percentage of them? Who knows, right? Today, silver did some wild topping behavior. Okay,
Crazy.
It jumped from like 10. The last night it was at like $100 or something. It jumped to like 108 in the trading day, and then shot up to like 118. Like, yeah, it was crazy per ounce. So
and then once after that, at the end of the stock of the trading phase,
comes back down.
It went back to 103. So we're still accurate. I don't know what it's done in the last 4 hours, but 108 to 120 to 103 never happened for a silver, at least not anytime recently.
What's gold doing at the same time? Is gold doing the
still
same?
Still generally going up. They probably trace similarly. Say that again.
It's not erratic like silver. Like,
it's not as erratic.
Yeah. So I mean, look,
it had its erratic moments maybe a couple weeks ago, but silver is tripping.
But I don't think we were robbed. I don't think we were robbed at all. Like, I mean, to a certain extent, right? There's a whole bunch of people in this space that were asking for these Bitcoin treasury companies. Forget asking; they created them, right? They helped to create them. This is what they wanted to do, right? So this like all of these different dynamics, they all come into play, right? And maybe this, as a result of this dynamic, right, this is our boring ass bear market, right? Our boring ass bear market is this thing that's dead at like 87K. I know there's some people calling for 40K and some other people calling for like,
including someone on the stage.
I don't care where it goes, but the point is that huh? Oh yeah,
including someone on the stage.
Yeah.
Well, I think We'd have to go back and look. Did I say 20 to 30 or 30 to 40? I don't know.
You were saying 30 to 40, some irrational nonsense that
Hey, now.
sounds like a hater.
Hey,
you know,
I saw something yesterday that the XRP people are talking about, and they said that the smart people
they're not people
who don't want to have Epstein's money are going to be selling Bitcoin and getting into XRP.
Getting into XRP.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the dollar isn't Epstein's money? You mean the dollar isn't slave trade money or sex trafficking money? You mean
what are they going to buy XRP with? Seriously.
It's like the Drake meme from the music video. It's like you're looking at it, it's like, oh yeah, like why did I think of that? Of course, take all my Bitcoin, right? Yeah, stupid.
These guys, it's so sad. Every year, it's the same story over and over again. It's
like XRP. Focus on yourself, bro. Like we're.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh, and the Wolf of All Streets. Did you see his post today?
No.
Oh boy.
Is that the Scott Melker guy?
Yes.
Yeah. He said it was a post where he was like, oh gosh, I think it was a meme. It was something where he's just like, when you told everybody to get into, you were like telling everybody about fiat and what a freaking scam it was, but you got into Bitcoin instead of silver and gold. And the whole idea of it was the fact that he's saying you should have gotten into silver and gold.
Now really, I think he, he flip flops as much as
That was my impression from seeing it.
It's so crazy.
What is he saying? Because
isn't that weird? Because he partners with James Lavish and they do like this not LinkedIn, this what's the other Substack together. I think because for some reason I was subscribed to James Lavish, which he puts out. I'm not trying to show anyone, but I mean he's a very smart guy. He's a Bitcoiner and he puts out the informationalist. I don't get any kickbacks. I say if you guys want to see some good macro stuff, you should subscribe to him. I think he knows what he's talking about. But for some reason, I'm also subscribed to Scott Melker. I didn't push a button on his thing.
No, I didn't either. But I started getting it too. Did you just recently start getting it, the Wolf Den or something like that?
2 months ago, maybe a month ago. So I think they partnered together. So it's just sad to see. Now, again, like when you have a Bitcoin. If I'm a Bitcoiner, I'm not partnering with someone who just overtly kicks Bitcoin in the nuts. I'm like, that's a personal attack to me because like this is where I stake my flag on. So I understand we're all here to make money, I guess, short-term fiat, but at some point incentives have to kind of mesh. It's kind of like a partnership, right? It's more than just making bucks. It's about like, hey, do we have a shared narrative if we're collaborating? I don't know, maybe they're just trying to reach as many sales leads as possible. Maybe that's what it boils down to. So you take the Bitcoin people, you take the Bitcoin haters. It's really weird, but I don't know. Don't just leave me hanging like that. So for our next topic.
No, I'm leaving you like that.
You were like,
I'm forcing you to the topic. But that's it. We're giving this opening.
Hey, here's the catch with this one. So silver, right? It's like the big thing. So everyone has to go buy silver right now. So I don't support this. I hear Humble speaking, but I can't even tell what you're saying because I'm in my orator mode right now. What are you saying, girl?
I said silver tonight. It's silver tonight. It's not Bitcoin tonight. It's silver tonight. We're crying out loud.
This joke before. Look, we have to talk about it.
Let me go get my silver bars, and we could start to show them and everything, and be like,
bars, and that's why. Look at what we're showing.
Yeah, it's not
real. What a segue! I'm great at this, right? So this this guy, without further ado, he's like, look, they are basically selling us lead in silver shelling.
What a shock.
What a shock. But like now it's like, oh, you can't just buy silver on the paper market. You have to go buy your bars. But you can't even be safe with that because you're gonna have to buy some expensive verification device, what did the guy say in the tweet? He's like, demand ultrasonic verification. But guess what? Do you trust the ultrasonic verification from someone else? Maybe you need an ultrasonic verification machine yourself. I have an ultrasonic verification machine to sell you, bro. So it's like, buy only from primary dealers. Well, what if the primary dealers are captured? consider sticking to sovereign coins. Oh yeah, the government coins, like they haven't coin clipped in the past. Look, at the end of the day, guys, this is your future if you want to go back to metals like you're in the Roman days. Okay, gold ain't fixing your world, silver ain't fixing your world, platinum, it only belongs in grills of rappers. What we need is a money that can be verified by the lowest of actor and the highest of actor equally. In my opinion, that's really Bitcoin. What are your guys' thoughts on this little lead in here?
Well, obviously, I'm questioning my my silver bars now. I'm thinking, I've been hodling these things for 35 years.
Where are they?
No, they're not far. But I was about to sell them. I was about to sell them already a few times, and my wife is just like, no, don't sell them. It's not worth it. The money's breaking.
Dang,
all right. I'll take that. She's
so
listening.
you're trying to say you're not cycling into Bitcoin, Phil? So I guess,
dude, listen, I am. So that's the thing, right? As you know, like what is it? I'm at like 98% or 99% of my entire worth has been sitting in there.
I think it's okay to diversify.
So
You'll be okay.
In terms of an excuse, these were given to me as gifts. And I was just like, sentimental value. I'll hang on to them, And then, of course, my father's always asking about them. He'll be like, you didn't sell those silver bars, did you?
Yeah.
No, don't worry. I've got them forever. Don't worry.
Good.
Because it means something. So
Yeah.
Humble, what about your perspective on these bars? I mean, have you ever dealt with what's your perspective on this use case with regards to physical metals? Is there a real use case for it at all, or is it just hearkening back to an old time that's dead and gone?
I mean, it doesn't make sense to me as far as an investment. If you're investing in silver and you're wanting to profit off of that as it goes up, I mean, that's fine in the markets. But I don't understand. I understand owning the physical gold and owning the physical silver so that you actually have it, right? I understand that concept. But in this situation where you're seeing something like that, I mean, yeah, you're going to have to go through these additional steps to make sure and verify that you're actually getting the real thing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely prefer Bitcoin. But I have a relative in my family. It's kind of interesting because I don't know if it was this summer or I think it was last summer when they were visiting, and they're just like, well, they have this coin collection and it's, pretty big, and it's all silver coins. And if you can sell them, you can have a percentage of it. And I was like, no. You're hanging on to those. Like, silver's going to go up. I didn't know it'd do this.
Wow.
Because I can project that, but because of the Bitcoin space and everybody talking, it's like, no, these things are going to go up in, Bitcoin's going up in value. Well, what's going to go up with Bitcoin is silver and gold. Like, these things, right? So, yeah, I think that they're probably happy that they.
Nat King Cole, silver and gold, silver and gold.
Is this leading us into a new?
No, it's not. It's actually taking us away. I just wanted to sing a little bit, so I have justification for that. I always try to throw that in once in a while for the fans. And you guys aren't going to tell me I sing bad, right? Thanks.
No.
So this guy, Nikita Beer, is basically summarizing.
Twitter dude.
One more time. Who is he again?
The Twitter dude. He works on like the algorithm, and he's been putting out some controversial posts.
He tells us we can't say good morning because.
Oh man. Okay.
Not racist. Good morning.
Huh?
Is that the problem? It's racist.
No, that wasn't the problem. It was if you guys want to get some exposure, then stop putting those stupid good morning tweets out there because you're
bottish or something.
Well, you're using up, like, essentially it was kind of trying to tell you that you have a percentage, like the way the algorithm was working is that you would have a certain percentage of viewership for your post. So if you're like the reply guy and you're saying good morning to everybody who is putting out a good morning tweet, then you're putting out good morning, like you're losing your ability to be seen because you're just too diversified in your replies. I don't know, essentially.
There's
but then,
a quota?
Yeah. And so if you really wanted to make an impact, then have one really good post and don't have like all these other, which is interesting because
That doesn't work
Back
either.
in the day, Twitter was like, no, you just want to have these 1-liner, 2-liner things and do it like up to 10 times a day or something, right?
It
Like,
was
that was-
truly about like the tweet, like a
Yeah.
bird tweet is like toop, toop, toop. So it's
Yeah.
like what can you get in 150 characters that's compelling?
Exactly.
I mean, I go
Same.
on
Yeah.
basketball Twitter, and sometimes I go back to like old tweets from like Kobe Bryant actually died to today 6 years ago. And so
man.
like some people were talking about his old tweets, and he was talking about his tweets from him watching his 81-point game, and they were such one-liners. Like, it's like, I wonder what Phil Jackson was thinking at this point. It's like, gosh, Twitter's so different now. And it's like it was captivating, it was colorful and interesting. How much of a story can you put in a short format? It was like almost like what would you call it? A haiku or a short poem.
Yeah.
And now Twitter said, hey, let's change it so that we have these massive long stories from only the people that are allowed to share stories. If you're small, you're practically invisible. It's really a shame. And so that goes back to this story right here, where over the last few months, quoting him, we scoured the world for the top posters in every niche and country. And of course, people asked about, well, what about Bitcoin? So here are the top posters for Bitcoin. This is your Twitter A-list, or your X A-list for Bitcoin knowledge and information. You have Michael Saylor, Jack, Pompliano, Kathy Wood, and Balaji. Also, Raoul Paul, Dan Held, Eric Voorhees. I feel like it was just getting insanely bad. And then Adam Back and Miss Podcaster herself, Natalie Brunell. Now, I'll give my feedback. I got to admit that I'm not surprised that you would see Michael Saylor or even Jack. However, when you get into this middle realm, when you have Pompliano, Wood, Balaji, Raoul Paul, and Dan Held, and Eric Voorhees, I tell you, Powell and Voorhees have outright said that I'm pretty sure that they do not like Bitcoin. Like they have avoided it for years at a time. And despite the fact that they've been around since 2012, Dan Held included, it really doesn't care. They have overtly tried to lead people away from the money that is essentially supposed to save humanity. Of course, Adam Back, Natalie Brunell, Michael Saylor, still Bitcoin proponents. Even Jack, he's building a wallet. But I just you have to wonder, like, if this is what X wants you to hear about from a Bitcoin perspective, what does that mean for people like the Pleb Underground? What does that mean for people like smaller advocates that are actually trying to share the truth with you? I gotta say, this is kind of disheartening and makes the new people that are coming into Bitcoin, Phil, I gotta say, it's almost certain they're going to be led astray.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, look, the for me, I guess the hardest part about that list is seeing Rug Pal and the Pomp, and I think there was another one. I don't know if it was Balagis. But
I'm sorry. I'll go back to it. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, Eric
yeah, thank you. So essentially, between Voorhees, Pomp, and Rug Pal, I already know that this is just a giant sales funnel, right? Like they may have some signal in there, right? But the amount of noise, excuse me, completely drowns out whatever signal there is. And
I've never heard any signal from Raoul Pal except that the central bank prints money. Thanks. What's your solution? Buy my cryptocurrency. Never Bitcoin.
He was telling people that Luna was relatively safe, right? Like, and it's so funny because he actually, like, at this point, right? And this is what I think is interesting, is that people like him, they pretend that they didn't say these things, even though they were like recorded and it was saved, and it gets thrown back in their face, and they just deny. Right? Like that is the tool of like an insane person, right? Just sit there and total fucking deny that you've wrecked all of these people. So I mean, look, I'm also not surprised, right? I'm really that's the other, the other piece about it is that I'm not really surprised. So I think it's par for the course. I know that when I first came into the space, I was definitely lured in by some of the bigger accounts, and I had to figure out that they were just giant noise accounts, and slowly but surely, you stopped following them, and I found people, real people that actually liked Bitcoin and wanted to learn more about Bitcoin, and I'm like, these are the people I actually want to speak to. These are the people I want to hear from, and that's I'm more interested in their takes. It's just so pathetic. It really is. But again, it's wrecked is the only teacher, so why not? Right? Let it happen. Let these people be seen as the the biggest Bitcoin maximalists, so to speak, and let people get wrecked.
Humble, how long do you think it takes for, let's just say someone comes onto X and the first person they see is Raoul Pal? How long do you think it will take for them to discover the pleb underground?
Oh God. Yeah, I see. I think that I don't think people are going to find them. I mean, I think that if they're coming into Bitcoin, there are other names that are going to be standing out. Because, for example, like when I got on, I think I'd watched something. It was a Netflix show, it was like a documentary, and it had this guy Fluffy something. Oh gosh, not Verhoofdy, but it was like Fluffy something, Fluffy Bunny. I no, I don't know. He was a Bitcoin guy. But anyways, I guess what I'm trying to say is there were all these people I hadn't heard of, and so I was going on X, and I'm like, oh, let me see if I can. Maybe this is their name on X, and then I followed them because I'm like, well, they're in here, and on this documentary, and I liked what they had to say, and whatever. Not saying that everyone's going to do what I did, but I just don't think that people are necessarily going to be looking for those people.
Fluffy Pony, is that it?
Pony?
Yes, that's it. Fluffy Pony. That was it. Yep.
What are you watching?
Talking about the Monero guy. No, she's talking about magical crypto friends, maybe.
It was something where like it intrigued me because it was like, oh, he did this and then he just disappeared, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder what he's up to. Anyways, it's interesting because when it was either Nikita or somebody else that had actually put that post out looking for people to make suggestions on who to follow, for different special categories. And you just think, okay, well, if they asked that, how many of those names actually popped up where people suggested those people? I don't think a lot of those names popped up. I think this is just merely like, oh, yeah, it's because they're big accounts, they're well known, and so I don't know why they even asked, unless it was something where they were just like, oh, we're going to make it look like you guys are contributing.
The apparent or the I guess the facade of crowdsourcing always is.
Oh engaging.
Yeah, like we're all, oh look, I can be a part of this. The cool thing about our
don't
show,
put that over on Bitcoiners. We know better. That's bold.
It's like this show is verifiably crowd incorporated. We love interacting with the audience that's coming from Twitter and YouTube, and so it's like it's so disingenuous when Bitcoin shows, Bitcoin platforms, fiat platforms like X pretend like they want your input. For the most part, they're just using that as a form of engagement farming. It's like, oh wow, like if I type this, I'll be a part of it. You're not a part of it. You're not a part of it. But here, like, we love your input, especially the people who are very supportive and active of the channel. I can't stress that enough. Thank you guys. I mean, it's a joy to come on this show Monday evenings, sharing the news with you guys, sharing the stage with these two. And I look forward to doing it again very soon. Phil, I think it's time for us to go. Yeah, absolutely. And I obviously echo, what you're saying, and I believe that Humble does as well. And it is, to me, it's humbling to be able to, to be able to do this, and that's, all of you guys who decide to tune in, right? You choose to give us your time and your attention, and super appreciative about that. Humble, any you want to give some motivational?
for me because you were
Yeah,
trying.
I mean, he started off with something motivational.
He's,
I'm
no,
like,
he's definitely speaking for you. I'm telling you that because
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's about time to wash them
It's
dishes.
like, well, we know if we bring it to Humble, we're going to be here another 10 minutes. So
Wait, hold on, Humble. I want to know from you, what's the next? Come on, I know, and I asked you offline. Do you have an idea of what you want to do for your next video? A teaser for the audience.
I don't know. Maybe somebody in the audience will be in the next video.
Hello. I want to be in the
Hello.
video. I'm just saying, I want to be in every video if possible. Maybe someone else can be, maybe someone in the audience, they provide their avatar. They could potentially be in Humble's next video.
Yeah.
She is a marketing genius.
Oh, that's so
genius, but a Bitcoin heart. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, but I do. I love you guys. I love being here with you guys. And then I love the chat that we have. It's very active, and you guys you're right here with us. I mean, if we could only be in a room together, that would be just amazing. And Verhoofty, thank you so much for modding. That was awesome. Very helpful.
Maybe one day we get to do this show live in a room together. You know, you never know.
Never know.
But hopefully that happens.
With some silverware.
Some silverware, some silver bars, you know, because this is a Bitcoin show. So why not talk about cutlery and silver, right?
We can have a dishwasher loading competition. Stranger things have happened.
They have, and they're going to happen. They're going to happen.
Yeah, every day.
Stranger things are going to happen, and everybody needs to stay tuned. All those weird things that are going to happen. Guys, it's going to do it for us for tonight. Tomorrow, I am back 12:10 p.m. Eastern live. We're going to talk about all the, believe it or not, crazy shit's going to happen between tonight and tomorrow. We're going to cover it. Have a great night, everybody, and we will catch you next Monday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Take it easy. Silver bells.
I want to post it.
Oh,
silver bells.
You go. You post
silver
it.
Bells. Silver bells.
I can't
it's
sing.
Christmas time. And cut me off, please.
Silver and gold. Are we not going to do that?
It's pretty good.
Yeah. I can put my echo on. I can sound really good.
Silver and gold.
Show is never going to end.
Oh, well, maybe yes.